Hey guys, it's Faces Sims, and we are back with more Charade Maniacs, continuing Chigasaki's route. I'm like, what the hell were we doing? Whose route are we in? Anyway, Chigasaki. We're still in the common part, but going down the Chigasaki train. Woo woo! Anyway, I still feel nervous talking to the Arcadians. Okay, no, we can't. I didn't think so. I should look into the demographics and habits of the Arcadians. And I mean, to be fair, because like I was thinking this, I wasn't sure if we could skip because when we chose the last time to go to the park versus wherever else where our other choice was, those choices weren't, neither one of them was blue, saying we chose it before. But it's like, it's still part of the common route, and the only person we've done is Akase. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be like some of them, like the title screen ones where you go and it's like these three characters are in the living room, these three characters at the library. You know what I mean? Those ones never change color, so you never know which ones you've chosen before. So I was wondering if it was like that, but if it is, we didn't go to the park last time. So anyway, I should look into the demo. Okay, I can just stand back and observe them. Yeah, I should do that. When I observed the Arcadians carefully, I noticed a wide range of age groups. Men and women of all ages walked about and they seemed to do their own things. Or the choice of waking up Akase versus not waking him up was kind of the deciding factor on like going down a whole different path, and now we're leaning toward Chikasa. Like, I don't know. Arcadians sometimes talk to each other, but they didn't have intimate conversations. And maybe this path leads you toward Chigasaki, maybe the other one would lead you to Dazai. Who knows? There are children too, and they really do seem humans. Okay, they really do seem human, seeing as some just play around. I can't read today either, okay. Humans. Something about this seems too elaborate. I should take a break. I went to look for the bench at the edge of the park, but it was already occupied. I thought it was an Arcadian, but I was wrong. I'm gonna guess it's Chigasaki. Chigasaki, Dina, did you come to investigate the Arcadians? Yeah, what about you? I don't really have anything to do in particular. Chigasaki said that. He seemed to stare off into the distance hazily. Seeing that, it reminded me of something. I wonder if Chigasaki hates the Arcadians. No one would like them. Oh, they're money monsters. I know, but it seems to me that Chigasaki hates them much more than Sana or I do. Chigasaki seemed like he was purposely avoiding the Arcadians, but since he's at the park, maybe not. Well, maybe okay, like we were traumatized and afraid of them. Doesn't mean that Chigasaki couldn't also be kind of afraid of them, but just doesn't like say anything about it because oh come on, you're a man. But like, oh whatever. Like it's okay if we're like, oh I'm gonna faint because of oh she's a girl. It's okay. You know what I mean? Could be stupid gender stereotypes where he feels like he can't say it. Or, if that woman in the drama was related to him, you know, maybe he has a little bit more information about the Arcadians than some other people do. Like we know from I think it was Iochi's route that like the Arcadians used to be our friends, that when you're here and you're basically turned into digital data, then they kind of become Arcadians. And it's like they start over, like they know nothing, they have no idea who they were or anything like that. Like wasn't that I feel like that's kind of that didn't that come out, or did I just like make that up in my head? So Chigasaki might have more insider information and he might kind of know that or suspect. And maybe that's why he doesn't like them, or it's not that he hates them. It's more like I know that you used to be people and one of you used to be my sister, mom, whoever, and like has like issues about it, but he can't say anything because then he'd reveal what he knew and then that would look sus. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I looked over at Chigasaki. That's when I noticed how gloomy his expression was. That would explain that too. And I also wondered why he was gripping his right arm tightly. Chigasaki, are you injured? Huh? You're holding onto your right arm. I was wondering if you're hurt. Was it his right arm the last time that was hurt? Like I mean, I guess they'd have to write it like this so that if you didn't have that scene with him, you couldn't say, is your arm still hurt? But maybe it was his left that time. You know what I mean? But like, it'd be weird to be like, are you hurt? As if you totally just forgot that you bandaged up his wounds a couple days ago. But also, if you didn't get that scene, it'd be weird if you were like, are you still hurt? And then you're like, wait, what? So like, I guess there's no really way to do that, you know? Or it doesn't seem weird either way. Don't touch me. Huh? I reached out to him, but he smacked me away. Chigasaki was usually so kind and gentle, so that was really surprising. Huh. Sorry. Um, it isn't your fault or anything. This arm, my right arm is my treasure. So please, don't touch it. Have we had this conversation with him before? Not here, anyway. Chigasaki dug even deeper into his right arm. Treasure. His right arm is his treasure, but he's gripping it so tightly. That's interesting, though. Again, I feel like now that he said that, I'm like, didn't that happen? Didn't he say that in passing in a different route? And it was like, wait, what? And then we never... This feels like deja vu. You're getting deja vu here? I could tell he cared deeply about it, but I didn't quite understand why. I know that his arm's important, but why wouldn't he let anyone touch it? I think back during the maintenance. Let's return to the lodging. There's only 3 minutes left before the maintenance, so we must hurry. Back then, Chigasaki held out his arm to me. But that's not all. I've touched him a few times previously, and he didn't reject me like this. I tried to think about other situations. Oh, I get it. It was all his left arm back then. Okay. Alright, so his left arm was the one that was injured. Probably before. Okay, I couldn't remember. I'm like, was it his left or his right? Like, whatever. But now I wonder... It's starting to make... Like, he's wearing this big sweater and whatever. Does he... Did you... The original thought when he hurt his left arm or whatever was, oh, okay, he must have fallen. He said he bumped into something, and you're like, maybe he was trying to do research like Akase does research, and he was doing something he shouldn't have, and he got hurt, and he just doesn't want to talk about it. So he's like, oh, yeah, I just bumped into something, and now like, oh, I was trying to bust down a door, and I smashed my arm, and you know what I mean? Like, but do you think that, like, is Chigasaki sick? Is Chigasaki gonna die? Does he have worms? Like, did you ever watch the show Gary the Rat? It was like a fucking 100 years ago. It was Kelsey Grammer. It was a cartoon, and it was on back when TNN switched to Spike. I don't know if Spike still exists. I don't even know. But they had made like adult cartoons. There was like Pamela Anderson was like Stripperella or something, and she was like a stripper superhero. I barely remember that. But Gary the Rat was so fucked up. But like he was a lawyer that got turned into a giant rat because, you know, it's a douchebag, right? But being a rat, he would always order like cheese from this cheese store. And so the delivery dude was always like, hey, what, like a total stoner. So would always call him a dog. So one time, I swear to God, I remember this line because there's other lines that I remember from this that are like fucking hilarious, but also inappropriate. But it was something like he said something about like he was gonna die, and I don't remember, but like the little dude was like, why are you gonna die, doggy? You have worms? And I don't know why that just sticks in my head, and I swear to God, this show is probably from it's stuck in my head for like 20 fucking years, okay? Like that is just never left because it's one of those like it's just so fucking stupid. Like the only reason why I said that it makes no sense if you've never seen it. I'm pretty sure you could probably find it on the internet somewhere. And like there's a part of me that's like, I want to find it and watch it again, but I also would probably watch it and be like, what the actual fuck? There's so much wrong with this. You know what I mean? But it's the nostalgia glasses of like, at the time it was pretty damn funny. Also, there was a scene where Gary's dating a girl and his boss is asking about her, and he's like, yes, she had many kids, and he's like, yeah, 9 of them, because she has like cats. The cats are her children. And the boss goes, Jesus Christ, it's a vagina, not a clown car. Or someone ought to tell her it's a vagina, not a clown car. And that has still just always been fucking hilarious, and it's still goddamn funny in my head. And those are basically the only 2 things I remember Aside from everything that came out of the show was on that level of like wildly fucking inappropriate, but goddamn if it wasn't funny at the time. Again, it's one of those nostalgia things where you probably watch it now and you go, this does not hold up. But the vagina not a clown car thing is fucking hilarious still. I don't know, it's still funny. Are you gonna die, doggy? Do you have worms? I don't know why that's so funny. So that's why that makes sense in my head when I'm like, is he gonna die? Does he have worms? Because if you've never seen the show, that wouldn't make any sense. You're like, you don't die just because you have worms and he's not an animal. Like, whatever. Like, I'd have a tapeworm, but it's probably not gonna kill him. But anyway, my point being, after that long ass roundabout tangent off in decades past, grandma can't remember what our train of thought was. Is like, I wonder if Chigasaki has some kind of illness or something, and he didn't just hurt his arm. It's like some kind of like illness that inflate. I don't know. I don't know all sorts of diseases or illnesses or whatever, but something that like would make your arm look inflamed or something, and then something's going on with his right arm. But if we see it, then he's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, "What's going on here?" And then you have to explain. So it's more like, "Don't touch me! Don't look!" Like, you know what I mean? Like he's sick in some way, you know? Maybe just throwing that out there. Like, I don't know. That was kind of like the thought process that went through my head. Like, maybe he's sick. Maybe it's some kind of autoimmune disease or something, or you've got some kind of illness that, presents itself in these ways where then if we looked at your right arm, it would also look like red or inflamed or something. And then we'd have to question, like, the fuck have you been doing? Or like, what's going on? And he doesn't want to explain, you know? So like, is he dying? We're gonna have to save him. Anyway, it was all his left arm back then, sure. It all seemed to make sense then. Chigasaki had made sure I didn't touch his right arm. I hadn't noticed it before. Or again, he could just literally be crazy and be like, my right arm is it's my precious. But why go to such lengths? I thought about it in silence while staring at Chigasaki hazily. And it's not like you're missing your arm because that's an Ibana's thing. You can't have that. Chigasaki looked up awkwardly and our eyes met. So I said something to break the silence. I'm sorry. I shouldn't try to touch you without your permission first. Good girl. Consent. Good for you. And no, it's my fault. Don't worry about it. It isn't your fault. Anyone would act the same way over something they cherish. Even though she's like, but in my mind, I'm like, I mean, I cherish my limbs, don't get me wrong. I enjoy having them, I need them. But like, if someone like touched my arm, I wouldn't be like, back off! Sorry, he's okay. I just did that and scared the shit out of my bird who was sitting with me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. You were just totally like zoned out sleeping, and I just made a hissy noise and scared the shit out of you. He's okay. You're okay. You all right? Poor bird. Poor baby. Or anyway, but you know what I mean. Stina, do you have something like that? Something you cherish most in the world? It's hard to say what's most important to me, but there are many things that I care about. I like to collect small objects. It's not much to speak of, but I like accessories and stupid stuff like that. Stupid stuff. They're like souvenirs I buy when I take trips with family. They aren't useful, but I like to keep them for the memories. Family. Alright, because your mom or your sister was that woman. But I'm not sure that it's treasure. I think that the memories I made with my family are more important. After I said that, we were quiet again. Chigasaki looked conflicted when he whispered to me, You must love your family. I was about to agree with him, but when I saw his sad expression, I reconsidered. Back in the trauma when you said you couldn't push Haiji out the window because he was the same age as your little brother. When I heard that, I simply couldn't understand how you'd feel that way. I couldn't see why that mattered. Okay, so if that woman was related to you, you had a bad relationship. And I'm gonna guess it's not the same kind of, like, this is interesting. All right. So you have family trauma like Ibana. Different, but, family trauma. He just thought it was more important for you to get your voice back, but said that your family is your treasure. I caught a glimpse of what you felt then. I had a little... Maybe that was his mother that was in this, but she abandoned him and then was here. Or he thought that, and then he found out, like, fuck, she was here, and that's why she never came home. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just going out for milk, and then she gets abducted into the other world stream and dies, and then you're like, my mom abandoned me, and what the fuck? And everyone's like, I understand, my dad went out for cigarettes and never came back. You know what I mean? And then he's just a walking cliche, and you're like, but actually your mom got kidnapped, and that's why she never came back. You just thought she abandoned you. But like, fuck. That's a different kind of family trauma, and if they went down that route, I wouldn't be mad about it, because it's different than like everyone else. Like, my so and so was abducted. It's like you thought your mom abandoned you, so you have all these issues that you've been unpacking for a while, and really your mom was kidnapped and is kind of dead, sorta, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, shit, like that's a whole other set of luggage you got to unpack now. Envy? No, well, my home, my family's a bit special. It's all a bit complicated. Special? I don't think I should pry. I'm curious, though. I think that it's fine to treasure different things. My little sister's treasure is our pet Pult. I think she'd say that she cherishes it more than anyone in the family, even me. Oh, really? Your sister is adorable. Well, I wouldn't say that. She's always so cheeky, but she cries quite easily, too. But you still look after her, don't you? Kinda have to. I do, but she gets clingy when she's hungry, and I make her help out with things like peeling vegetables and doing the dishes. Like, my sister's a pain in the ass, yeah, but you still take care of her. Yeah, because, like, I'm not going to let her die. Jesus. I have a heart. I want to punt her out the window, but I'm not gonna, because that's kind of wrong, you know? He laughed. Thank goodness. Well, when I listen to you, it makes me think that families are warm. It's wonderful. Okay, I really need to know what's going on in your family. Wonderful. Having the gentle smile directed at me definitely made me feel happy, but I thought I caught a glimpse of sadness behind that smile. Chigasaki, you're wonderful too, so, if something's on your mind, let's talk it out. Huh? If something's worrying you, just talking about it can sometimes make you feel better. I can listen to your problems, if you want. You should throw that in. I'll try to help in any way I can, so please don't bottle it up. Sure thing. I wanted to know what was bothering Chigasaki. He always treated everyone kindly. Why was he so hard on himself? Despite how I saw things, he just responded with his usual smile. But I'm fine. I do feel much better just having you listen to me. No use. All right. Please let me know if you ever need to talk about anything. Yes, thank you. I'm on my way to the library now. Will you be staying here, Sena? I don't think I should leave Chigasaki alone. At the very least, I should be with him for now. I think I'll go to the library too. I've looked into the Arcadians sufficiently today. I see. How about we go together then? Chigasaki took a step forward and waited for me to go alongside him. I should go to his left and not his right side. Chigasaki stared at me as I purposely moved over to his left side. When I'm with you, I start assuming the wrong thing. That's an interesting phrasing of words. What do you mean? You stand next to me, I start to wonder if it's all right to stand closer. It's because you say things like calling me wonderful, which isn't fitting for me. Are you a serial killer? Like, I'm really curious now. Like, you're like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, is it just because, like, you doubt yourself because your family says mean things to you? Or, like, do you stab people and you really aren't wonderful and that's why we shouldn't call you that? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? Don't say that. It's true. And deserve the time that I spend with you. Yeah, you got lots of issues we gotta unpack. I felt like something was gripping my heart. It was a nebulous sadness. Welcome back. I'm being shady. And then have a sus face. Oh, okay. You know what's weird? I don't remember that drama with Chigasaki and Futami. Maybe we should have kind of like reskipped. I don't remember that one. Obviously, we did it because we've done it in Akase's route, but I don't quite remember. I remember the fireworks. Okay. I should rest a little. Interesting that I should rest a little is the only choice here. And then I cheated and I scrolled up, and that leads us into Chigasaki's route. So it's interesting because right now we did Akase's route, so Dazai's route should be open, but we don't have a different option here. Like, usually you have a couple choices, and then it's like, well, I mean, I guess so far we've seen it just felt like we tried to do all the things we could to get us down the right route, and we ended up the wrong one that we wanted to go on. You know what I mean? When I was trying to get to Mose, but we ended up in Futami's route. So, like, but some of the other ones, like when we were going down Ibana's, it was like, okay, I can see where obviously between Iochi and Ibana, like we did certain choices, and it's like, okay, this is slight, okay, whatever. But like, I don't think we got to a point where it was like we only have one option. That's interesting. So it's like, I don't think it would have mattered at this point. Like, it felt like when we accidentally got Futami, it was because there was choices there and we chose the Futami one. And it was like every other one we did as much as we could to get down to Mose's route. How did this one choice was the only one that seemed to make a difference? With some of the other ones, and I can't remember. I'm sure there were a couple of other choices, but other ones seem like a lot more direct. Like there's a lot more Chigasaki choices that we made here that were different than Akase that can see why we're here. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I approached Chigasaki, who had sat down to look at the fireworks. He moved over a bit to make space for me. Thank you. Not at all. I should be thanking you. And sorry. Huh? For what? And before dinner, when we gathered, you approached me because you were worried for me. But I brushed you off coldly then. Sorry for that. I don't mind at all. I completely understand how you were in shock at the time. Yes, but that's why we could have shared our experiences then. But I only thought about how glad I was that it was only my leg that was taken. Oh, did he get the punishment game? I can't quite remember. Actually, no, I think I kind of do remember that now. Because he refused to do... Well, didn't he have to stab Futami or something like that? Or he was supposed to do... Well, see, that's interesting. Because when in Futami's route, we had to stab him, and he stabbed himself, basically. It was like, enjoy this. So wasn't Chigasaki supposed to do something to hurt him or whatever, and he was like, no, I can't do this? And that would be kind of interesting that Futami is always in these where we have to stab him, and you know what I mean? Okay. Alright, that seems a little, like, weird. Okay, sir. But, like, again, I don't think that's enough to point and be like, oh, see, it was always shady. Because, like, just because you were always in scenarios where someone had to stab you and then they couldn't. Like, I mean, I could see where that would be a setup, but, anyway. Chigasaki, aren't you afraid of dying? If you can't answer me, does that mean you can't deny it? Tina, whoever felt afraid of living? I couldn't think straight because of the unexpected question. I thought I misheard him, but from how serious Chigasaki looked, I probably heard right. Be afraid of living. Have I ever thought that way? Answer, I'll take that as a denial. I'm glad to see that it's just as I thought. Chigasaki, just so we're clear on this, I have no intentions of dying. But if you ask me if I'm afraid, I can't say. To stay alive is a form of fear, too. But humanity is beautiful because we fight it. I wish to be the same. Are you an alien? Everyone's an alien! That's it, we're the only real one here. I am here to live. You don't have to worry about that. Like, he's just adorable, but then his side profile like this, with the eye, it was like, sir, you are beautiful. A little sexy. Chigasaki's voice is drowned out by the fireworks. Well, Chigasaki kept saying that, but he would never look at me when he did. Ooh, teach me. Chigasaki. Teach me. Oh, sir. I'm here in order to live. Couldn't forget those words. I was gathering information in the library, but I couldn't find much notable data. I looked through the shelves and dealt with some intrusive thoughts. Chigasaki always seemed so pessimistic about everything. I really wasn't one to say anything about how anyone else thinks. He's so kind to everyone, hates conflict. He's a typical nice guy who always cooperates with the team and rarely has negative things to say. I feel like now a typical nice guy is like a negative thing. It's not like he's a typical nice guy. There's quotes around it. I know what she's saying, but it's like, what do we say? Like an actual, like a genuinely nice person. You can't say, oh, he's a nice guy. It's like, oh, he's a nice guy. And you're like, no, not like nice guy, but like a nice guy. Like, we gotta have another thing because it sounds insulting when you say that now. Like, unless it's about himself. The more I thought about it, the more dejected I felt. It doesn't seem to me that Chigasaki has any shortcomings that would make him so negative. Maybe it's about the punishment game. He seems to think that he's dragging us down. When I took the punishment game, I was the same, so I kind of understood. I felt bad and pulled my hand away from the shelf. That was when I heard footsteps. I wonder if someone's here. I peeked out from between the shelves, and my eyes met with Tomose's. Excuse me, sir, this is not your route. You're here too. Yeah, Tomose, are you here to do research? No, I borrowed a book, so I was thinking of returning it. What kind of book? It's a collection of plays. The script of a recent drama was pretty similar to a play I knew. Oh, really? I wouldn't understand even if I read it. A lot of times they're homages to plays. If I know what it's based off of, I can figure out how the story goes for reference. Like, Tomose has taken this so seriously. It's not even like, I'm doing it for research. He's like, then I'm going to know how this goes, and I know how to play my character when I'm involved. And you're like, you know people are dying. I mean, not yet, and not necessarily here, but in prior times. Like, are you okay, sir? The answer's no, but still. I see. It works for you because you love acting. Maybe I should read a bit too. You should. It would help you improve your acting. Most people are trying to get out of here, and he's like, I'm concerned about how my acting is. Tomose is a little weirdo. Yeah, then maybe I'll start with yours. I don't think it's really right for beginners. Huh? Why? It's a collection of plays from the 19th and 20th centuries. They're all part of the school of realism. The themes are usually dark, and they symbolize the social problems and worries of the time. You wouldn't like those stories. Ugh. The dramas are homages to those plays, right? That's how it seems. Then I'll skim through it if I have to. Thanks for the advice. If you feel like reading something else, let me know. I'll find something that's easier to read. After saying that, Tomose went to borrow another book before leaving the library. I thought that maybe I could just call it a day, so I left the library with a book under my arm. I arrived at the street with lots of stores, and the area was darker all of a sudden. Is it raining? I wondered why, and then it started raining. Wasn't there another route where it was like it never rains here? Curious. Huh, a sudden shower? Rain itself was rare, so I hurried under the eaves of a shop while keeping the book out of the rain. I thought about asking Watcher to get me an umbrella, but I caught someone out of the corner of my eye. I feel like in another route there was rain because we shared an umbrella. But then there's other routes it's like it never rains, so it's like really bizarre, but huh. It's gonna be Chigasaki. Chigasaki stood in the middle of the road and he was looking up at the sky. In Abano's route, we found him in the rain and we were going to share our umbrella or whatever, and that's when he showed us his robot band or whatever. But I feel like in another route, it was like, it never rains. Or maybe it was that one we were like, it never rains here. This is weird. I guess it's just very infrequent, but plot convenience. It's fine. Anyway, Chigasaki stood in the middle of the road and he was looking up at the sky. He seemed dazed and stayed in the rain like he didn't care about getting wet. Then he looked at himself as if just realizing it was rain. Chigasaki, Arcadian. You just realizing what rain it like, I mean, are you okay, sweetie? Are you taking some weed gummies? Like, what's going on? Chigasaki! I couldn't leave him there. Our eyes locked. Oh, Sina. He'll get wet. Come this way. I'm pretty sure he's already soaked, and that sweater is going to be really fucking heavy. The amount of water it absorbed. He was using a cane. I beckoned him to come under the eaves. Then I noticed Chigasaki was frowning while holding on to his side. Chikasaki's clothes looked dirty. What does he keep doing? His abdomen and feet were dirty, and his clothes looked tattered, and his clothing looked tattered. Okay, so then I'm guessing the "don't touch my arm" and "oh my god" freaking out is not about. Well, I mean, okay, he could have fallen because he's lost the use of his leg. You know what I mean? That would make sense, but it sounds more like he's getting into shit. You know. But to be fair, that's what it seems like. Oh, he's getting in and he's investigating stuff like Akase did, right? Which I feel like is the logical kind of assumption, but he it lost the use of his legs, so he could have easily tripped and fallen and hurt himself, and like that could be why. But this has happened before he lost his legs, so it could be if he is ill, that could explain it. So he's either like, you've got something wrong with you, and that's why you keep falling and you look tattered and dirty and stuff like that because you keep like something keeps happening when no one's around type of a thing. Um and you're falling and hurting yourself, or you're doing some kind of like Akase level investigating where like you're getting into shenanigans. Could go either way. It can't be because of the rain, right? It only just started. Did you fall? Your clothes are torn. Uh, oh, right. I'm not used to this cane, so I fall sometimes. Which is a very good excuse, and I would believe it. But, not sure if I do 100%. Oh, really? I nodded, but something didn't seem right. Yeah, see? Chigasaki had only lost leg function days prior. The team and I tried our best to support Chigasaki in his daily life. At first, it seemed that he wasn't used to it, but maybe because he didn't want any help, he started to become more independent. He seemed to be able to walk and live his daily life, although big movements were still difficult. He was able to act in the dramas without any issue, too. I've never seen him fall. Chigasaki's stunned expression remained while I continued thinking. I looked at the rain and decided to speak up, and also the stunned. Why are you stunned? I can understand if it was like, it has never rained here and we've been here for months. You know what I mean? Like, but we haven't quite been here for months because I feel like it was several months that we were here for the entire portion of while we were here. How about we get Watcher to get us an umbrella? Yes, go ahead. You can go back and I'll follow soon. Chigasaki, why don't you come with me? I have my cane, so it's difficult to use an umbrella. Oh, right, I can hold it. I looked up at the sky and considered giving up, but Chigasaki said something in a cheerful voice. Don't mind me. Just go on ahead. I was thinking of taking it slow anyway. Taking it slow? Were you taking a walk out here? Yeah. Then I like to relax and wait out the rain. All that's left to do is go back anyway. I see. You're so kind, Sena. He's like, Jesus Christ, take a hint. It's more like he looked sad and stopped talking, so I didn't know what to say after that. He seems to be daydreaming again. I wasn't worried about Chigasaki simply because he said something that bothered me. He's been daydreaming a lot recently. He rarely showed up when others were around. Even if he did, he was always sitting alone in the yard. Okay, see, he's getting more mysterious. I like it. What's going on? I always thought he was more of a listener than a talker. Something about it still seemed odd. I like fortune telling. Huh? Yeah, we're all like, huh? Where did that come from? Chigasaki, what's your sign? I saw the TV today and there was something on it about horoscopes. Horoscope. I'm sorry. I actually don't know what sign I am. Horoscopes aren't as popular as they used to be, so that makes sense. They're not really scientific. Well, what's your birthday? It's October 6th. You're a Libra. Oh, then you're a Libra, just like my brother. I'm glad I checked that one. I knew that because my birthday's October 24th and I'm a Scorpio and I know Libra comes before me, so the reason I don't know them all off the top of my head. You'll have good luck today, and your lucky color's black. Black things will bring you good fortune. Oh, really? I feel like it could be true. Your uniform is black after all. When I'm with you, I can forget the bad stuff. Even though he said that, Chigasaki sounded like he couldn't forget any of it. Whether he was forcing himself to sound cheerful or not, hearing that made my heart hurt. Something awful happened that he wants to forget? I can't help but wonder what I could do for him. I'm sorry if what I ask offends you. Huh? Chigasaki, ever since you took the punishment game, you've seemed pretty sad. Maybe you should try and reenact that drama. At the time, you said you'd never do it again. If you're feeling so gloomy about it, I think you should try to reenact it. Just stab Futami, he'll like it. I also don't want to act in dramas that hurt others, so I understand how you feel. Sorry, I didn't intend to cause you all this worry. I actually don't mind the punishment game too much. Then, it's not the color black that brings me luck, but it's your existence. Thank you so much for caring about me. I'm wondering if his family doesn't care about him. You know what I mean? And that's why he's like, oh, your family seems nice, and I didn't think families were like that. And he's more like you showing him kindness and actually caring. Not like, I'm showing you kindness because I'm into you, but it's like, it's genuine human kindness. And you're like, you're a nice person and you're someone that deserves kindness. Most people that you don't know, you would give like the kindness to a stranger until you learn they're a douchebag, and then you're like taking that back. You know what I mean? But like in general, when we first met him, we had no positive or negative feelings or knowledge of him. We were just like, okay, here's this person. I'm gonna be nice and kind and polite and kind to everyone because I don't know these people. She's like that anyway. She's not gonna be like when Abana's like, oh, you're gonna be like, fuck you. Some of us would be like, yeah, you know what, go fuck yourself, dude. Not me, because I love the salty marshmallows. In reality, I probably would be like, go fuck yourself. But, you know, well, like, Chigasaki's only ever been nice and kind, so she's no reason not to be nice to him. Well, like, he feels like, he almost comes across like, I'm not used to people being nice to me. Like, you know? His gentle smile interrupted me. It seemed kind, but it was a strong rejection. I'll try to improve. I can never do things right, even when you and everyone else help me so much. I have to be the one to fix it. Valid. I feel so pitiful. I'm older than you, but you're the one worrying about me. Age doesn't mean you can't worry. But that's not what I... Oh, yeah. What about you, Sena? Is there anything bothering you? We're together every day. Bothering me? Yes. For example, does anything feel off? Maybe something or someone comes to mind. That's so vague. I don't know. Really interesting how you flipped the tables on me. It's like, oh, anyway, what about you? Anything bothering you? And you're like, wait, what? Like, someone, something kind of bugging you, shit's going down. And you're like, and that's such a weird way. It's, you know what I mean? You're like, wait, what? Now I'm thinking about this and forgetting that I was worrying about you. Like, interesting way to kind of change the topic while still not drastically changing it. We're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I see what you're doing. You're trying to change the topic, buddy. Not going to happen. But he changes it in such a way you're like, asking what? Or like it makes you think about it. And then you forget. Um, does someone interest you? Or maybe something about that person crosses your mind? Well, I do wonder about you, Chigasaki. You always look like you're daydreaming. He's like, does anyone interest you? You're just, like intrigued by it? Like he's trying to like ask if you're into anyone, and then you bring up him, and I don't think that. I mean, yes, because we're in your route, but I don't think that she thought through what she was saying. Never mind me. Well, if there's nothing, then I guess that's okay. Oh, so he doesn't want me to point him out. I actually wanted to ask about Chigasaki, but I don't think we're seeing eye to eye. For some reason, I felt sad about that. My mouth moved quicker than my brain. Oh, that is a real problem. We all get that. Chigasaki, is it a pain if I worry about you? It's not that at all. But worrying about me won't be fun for you at all. I just happened to get worried. When I took the punishment game, you and everyone else helped me. I can't forgive myself for ignoring people that are suffering in front of me. Do you understand? My conscience. Well, it might not be exactly that, but doing nothing feels painful to me. Guess so. I think I'm familiar with that feeling, too. You know, right? So please let me worry about you. Please. I didn't think you'd plead like that. After he mumbled that weakly, Chigasaki finally smiled while facing me. You. So fortunate to have met you. I'm able to stop myself thanks to you. I can work harder at trying to return because of you, Sena. I'm able to stop myself? Stop yourself from what? Was he complimenting me? When he says things like that, I feel a little embarrassed. And then instead of, like, she's like, oh, it's a little, yeah, because you're being nice. You're like, oh, okay, I'm a little embarrassed. Instead of stop you from what? A very sus way to word things. I can see the light coming through the clouds. Maybe the rain is letting up. Yeah, I think so. He looked away immediately. I wondered if I should have taken his expression at face value. After the rain stopped, Chigasaki and I returned together, but he went straight to his room. I didn't see Chigasaki once after that. The sun's so bright. I looked out the window and felt dumbfounded. Completely overslept. I didn't know the time. There weren't any clocks, but there was no doubt that it was almost noon. No one would have been mad at me for oversleeping, but that wasn't the issue. I have to work as part of the team, so I need to pull myself together. I was late because I stayed up all night reading that book. I was reading the anthology that Tomose let me borrow. The content was difficult to understand, so I read it over and over. The themes were dark and gloomy, so I talked to Watcher for a change of pace at times. That was the reason I'd overslept. I got myself ready to go outside and knew that I should be more careful in the future. Ugh, there's nothing left. Normally there'd be leftovers of breakfast in the kitchen, but there was nothing left at all. I woke up much too late, so I thought of grabbing a quick bite before returning to my investigation. Ibana must have overheard my mumbling. He spoke to me pointedly. Wake up way too late. You're so lazy. So sorry. I was hoping that maybe there'd be something left. He's mad because that's exact. His sisters are lazy, so well, I can't really blame you for being mad now. But also, he's like, God, he's just gonna judge us for everything we do. If every dude in this house overslept, he wouldn't be as bitchy about it. He would be. He'd be like, God, all of you suck. But he's more bitchy about us. I still love you, my salty little marshmallow. Don't expect leftovers. And eat the fresh stuff. It tastes best that way. You know, jeez. I said I'm sorry. Huh. He scoffed at me. I couldn't help but groan when he did that. He's so mean. I know, but he's hurt. That's why. I have bread and salad if you don't mind it. Would you like that? Chigasaki came in as Abana left. He'd probably heard the conversation from the living room. He took some bread and salad from the fridge and offered it to me. But isn't that yours, Chigasaki? Aren't you going to eat it? I don't have much of an appetite in the morning, but Ibana still prepares it for me. However, I couldn't finish it, so I was saving it for lunch. But, Sina, if you're going to eat it, that'd be great. Oh, oh my god. I was like, oh, and then I went, and I was like, oh my god, my brain couldn't, like, get into Chica. Oh my good lord, that was a train wreck. I thought it was her saying, oh, and then I went, oh, me personally went up, go like, and I was like, oh god. Just turned into a snowball effect because I started reading it as us, but it's freaking Chigasaki, and like, Jesus, my brain blew the screen for a second there. Oh, Ibana might get mad if he finds out, so please keep this a secret. Get mad? He's already yelled at me once. Told me breakfast is an important meal. I see, so that's why Ibana prepared it. Ibana always had this curt attitude, but he was caring when it came to food. Chigasaki didn't usually eat breakfast, so he was probably worried about that. It's because for Ibana, food brings people together, and he wants people to be together because he's lonely and sad. I felt bad taking Chigasaki's food, but he didn't eat much anyway. I just assumed that people ate different amounts. I'll have some then. The person who might get mad already left anyway. I think that's how he shows care, so he's not exactly mad. If Ibana heard you say that, he'd definitely say he was mad. That's just who he is. I can totally see that. We looked at each other and laughed. Feeling relieved, I took the bread and salad over to the living room. Chigasaki seems normal today. I placed the bread and salad on the table and prepared to eat. Then I heard Chigasaki in the kitchen. Sina, what do you want for dressing? That one doesn't have any on it. Oh, you're right. There's mayonnaise, and Abana also made some sesame dressing, French dressing, and I'll just bring all of it. Mayo on your salad? He took them out of the fridge and brought them to me. Thank you. Wow, there's so many. There were 4 kinds of dressing, and the last one had a familiar white color. It was the one Abana made a day earlier when he was making pastries. Chigasaki, this one's called... It's the creme... whatever it is. It's a custard sauce used in pastries. Can't pronounce that, so I'm not going to try. Huh? Oh. I used it on my salad last night. Was it okay for me to use it? Huh? He used the sweet sauce on salad? Are you are you sure you're not one of the aliens? I think you're one of the aliens now because like what the fuck? Are you crazy? What's going on here? I think he made too much but couldn't throw it away, so he left it in there. I think it's okay. He might throw it away when he sees it today. I poured the French dressing on my salad and worried about Chikasaki's sense of taste. I mean, right? It's concerning. I've always thought you weren't too particular about your food. Yeah, people do tell me that I have a dull sense of taste. Or rather, that I have an unsophisticated palate, so to speak. By the way, what kind of dressing did you think the whatever was when you ate it? Thought it was some homemade mayonnaise. Mayonnaise? It's custard, so it should be sweet. You didn't feel sick afterward? Huh? I'm fine. Okay then. Then again, it shouldn't rot in just half a day. Whatever, doesn't really keep well, so I was worried when he mistook it for mayonnaise. However, I knew then for sure. Albert, you want me to pet you, but then you bite me. I'm sorry, you have too many pin feathers, buddy. Sorry. He just has a terrible sense of taste. Okay. So, well, that makes it, but that's interesting. Remember, his hearing's sensitive. Like, I can't turn it up too loud, and he's got whatever. And, like, sound is weird for him, and then you have a weird sense of taste. Like, are you one of the aliens? I mean, what's going on with you? There's something sus going on here. No wonder you're bad at cooking. Sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to say it out loud. I'm sorry. But it's a fact, so don't worry about it. I know that my sense of taste is bad. I can't tell different breads apart. I mean, I guess it really depends on the bread you're trying to tell apart. But like certain breads, you're like, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart either, you know? Chikazaki pointed at the 2 pieces of bread on the plate and smiled awkwardly. You mean the coffee roll and croissant? No way. Okay, I think that you could tell like, I can't tell the difference between like different types of like more white bread. Or like different types of, is this like whole wheat? Is this like whole grain wheat? Like, you know what I mean? Certain things you're like, you could tell the difference between like a sourdough and rye. Sure. But like, you know, sourdough and maybe some other bread that's like similar color, like more like white bread kind of thing. I don't know if I tell the difference. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I could either, but like, you know, a cinnamon bun and a croissant. I don't know what a coffee roll really is. Stupidly enough. Like, is it just a normal roll? Me, I'm thinking like coffee cake. It's like coffee cake. I mean, seriously though? Anyway, whatever. I don't understand it. Let's try something. Can you close your eyes? Huh? Like this? Chikasaki closed his eyes, so I tore off a piece of the bread and brought it to his mouth. Please open your mouth. Say ah. Chewed with his eyes closed and opened them when he was done, and then asked him a question. What bread was that just now? The croissant? Close. It was the coffee roll. It's not close at all. I enjoyed that and wanted to try with the croissant, but then I remembered his lack of appetite. I decided to leave it. Still, that's odd. Well, it can't be Well, it can be helpful for other things. Maybe you can eat just about anything. Guess so. I don't really like or dislike many foods. I just sense a bit of a difference in texture. Texture? Like with soda. It just pops inside of my mouth and I don't really like it. That's kind of cute. Oh, no. Not as cute as you, Sena. I wonder what kind of response that was as I finished the bread and salad. Just as we finished our meal and conversation, Chigasaki suddenly looked out to the front door. It looks like Akase and Dazai are back. Huh? They said they were going to do some research, but because of my leg, I took up their offer to stay behind. I see. While we spoke, Akase and Dazai came through the entrance. I couldn't hear them coming at all. Chigasaki must have good hearing. See, okay. But that's it, right? His hearing is extremely sensitive. But that makes you wonder, like, again, why? Is it because you're an alien? You're one of those, like, whatever? Or you just, like, you don't have a really great sense of taste, but your sense of hearing is, like, exceptional. And, like, don't they usually say that I mean, they say that, but I don't know if that's really true. But, like, the saying is, like, oh, when you lose one sense, the other one's kind of, like, get heightened or whatever like that. And I'm like, really? Because like I don't think my hearing is that great. My eyes are goddamn fucking like if I can't see jack shit if I'm not wearing contacts. And I'm pretty sure my sense of taste isn't the most fabulous either. I also can't breathe through my nose because of like my sinuses in general. So like, and I'm not super hypersensitive to touch. I mean, I feel like my sense of touch is just normal. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I must have a sixth sense that is just fucking magic, but I wish, I could harness it a little better to like, pick lottery numbers and shit because like, what the fuck? Like, I don't think any of my senses are great. So where did all the magic in that go? You know, they're all equally kind of crap. So, but anyway. But the good, super sensitive hearing also, because like, yes, he could hear them coming, but that's also why he can't turn the volume up really loud and he has to have a special set of headphones or whatever. We're back. Oh, Cena, did you just wake up? Sorry, I overslept. Well, that happens. We're almost done with our thing, too. Hey, did you go to that closed-off area? No. Well, I did, but there was no way inside. Closed-off area? Oh, right, we didn't tell you. Deep in the meadow through the warehouse, there's a section where you can't go any further. Oh, right, I remember that. There was an invisible wall in the meadow, and we were unable to move past that. We'd been talking about that maybe... We were talking about what may be beyond that, and if there was any way to do research on it. I'm sorry. I really am interested in that. I get the feeling there's something there. Can't be helped if you can't go inside. Why don't we check everything else out first? We've pretty much been everywhere else. What about the dad at the library in past episodes? Alright, stop asking me to pet you. Because you just bit me very hard. You're not nice. I know you got a lot of pin feathers and they bother you, but I'm not going to pet you then. You're like, pet me, and then I touch you and you bite very hard. You're very mean right now. Make the tiny bird pick out your pin feathers if you won't let me do it. I keep molting, so like when they molt and they get their little feathers growing back in, it can be painful, but it's like, I can't help it that his head is covered in these little pin feathers, and it's like, they're uncomfortable, but it's like he wants me to pet him, but it's like, but then I touch wrong and it hurts, and then you shriek and bite me, and like he just really like, I have a dent in my finger from your beak, and the tip of my fucking index finger is like flaming red, like, Jesus. That was really sharp. Could have broken the skin. It's not your fault, I know. Pin feathers hurt, I'm sorry, but don't ask me to pet you then. He's like, pet me, don't pet me! It's like cats. Like, Jesus. Pick a lane. Anyway. What about the dad at the library in past episodes? We're still missing some pieces of that. Yoichi will be checking on previous episodes. Oh, right. And I just remembered what I wanted to ask you. Chigasaki, Yoichi told me about this, but there was a woman with the name Chigasaki in some of the older episodes. Okay. So it is someone... Did we know that already and I just forgot? I mean, okay. I know in the last part, we saw the woman that we thought might be related to him. But I don't know if we had ever had this kind of reveal, like, hey, there's a woman with your last name. I don't know if that ever came out. Huh? The dad is old, so maybe it's just someone who happened to have the same last name. But it's an unusual name, so I thought I'd check with you. There are cases where relatives and family members have become cast members. She was a beautiful woman, a little older than me. She were a part of a previous cast, and then she would have met... Oh, that's Dazai, sorry. If she were a part of a previous cast, then she would have met her dead end. In some cases, memories of participants have been erased. Okay, see, he's saying in some cases, memories. See, because there's other ones like Iochi's brother met his dead end, and yet Iochi remembered him. You know what I mean? Oh, right. Sorry about that, Chigasaki. So I wonder if then it is someone related and Chigasaki either is pretending he doesn't remember or he actually doesn't. It's alright. I don't really have a clue about any family members that it might be. As you said, Akase, it could just be someone with the same name. I guess so. Just such a unique last name, but coincidences can be scary. You said it was old, but how old was it? What was the title? Oh, I'll send it to everyone. Nothing big, but it's better that we share this information. Right, Chigasaki? Oh, yes. Of course. I have a feeling Chigasaki, it is someone related to him, and I think he remembers and he just doesn't want to admit it for some reason. I finished the last piece of bread while listening and then started cleaning up the dishes. He's okay, it was just a wall. I returned to the sofa again and they were already talking about something else. In this team, Dazai and Saint have siblings. What's it like to have big brothers or sisters? Well, in short, they have no freedom. Oh, you mean like they take care of you? Taking care is putting it lightly. I don't want my life to be controlled at all. What did they do to you? How different. It's not that we're not close at all. Although because of those two, my ability to detect danger has continued to grow. I envy having an elder sister. I only have younger siblings, so I'm the one taking care of them. Zena, you're brave for even thinking that. Huh? But wouldn't you want someone to worry about you sometimes to the point that you find it annoying? I think that's love. If that's the case, you could say those things about Banjo. Oh, please. Tomose's a childhood friend, so it's completely different. Really? So is Banjo like a little brother to you? Banjo, my condolences. A little aside, what do we do in the afternoon? Do we just research separately again? I wouldn't mind that for myself, but what about you, Chigasaki? If you leave the lodge, and I think it's better someone goes with you. I'll be fine alone. Seeing Chigasaki slowly shake his head reminded me about yesterday. He stood in the rain with a blank expression. He'd avert his eyes in shame. If Chigasaki's going out, I'll go with him. Oh, that works. Zane, I'm sure you'd like to have someone with you while doing research. Yeah, so how about it, Chigasaki? Sure then. Now let's do that, Sana. He's like, I said I was fine fucking alone. I felt like I was being too pushy. Tomose always said that I'm too nosy and too pushy. Yeah, but Tomose's like, God, you suck. I'm gonna pull your hair. It's because he likes you. I understood that sentiment. It was a habit from taking care of my siblings. Dazai said something similar. He said he wouldn't want anyone to influence his life. Chigasaki, I don't think he'd say something like that. I turned to look at him, and I saw how serious Chigasaki looked. I looked at his face and remembered the excuses for my actions. When I came to this world... Do you feel easy? You look pale. Huh? Really? I thought I was being normal. I'm sorry. There's nothing to apologize for. Considering the situation, it can't be helped. Uh-huh. Difficult for me to say this, but you have to rest up so you can move in case there's an emergency. And don't push yourself too hard and think of yourself first and foremost. Don't worry. Stay calm. You're not alone, Sana. Even when I learned about the true form of Arcadia, he continued to encourage me. That's why I want to repay him for all the kindness he's shown me. Oh. These thoughts consumed me as I was picking out a book. Not paying close attention, I ended up knocking several books off the shelf. Oh no! I sounded so foolish as I picked up those books. I was thinking of something serious, but my own dumb mistakes got in the way. I was embarrassed by my own actions, and I didn't even notice Chigasaki approach to help me pick up the books. He had a cane, so I felt ashamed about it. Are you okay? Sorry, I dropped it by mistake. It's alright. Been in the last 2 dramas, so you must be tired. I'm really not that tired. The Otherworld stream happened daily. Usually it took place 3 to 5 times around noon. Depending on the day, I wouldn't be in any. That day, I just so happened to be in 2 dramas. That was what he was referring to. But I'm not a very good actor. I do feel a bit guilty about it all. I don't really get that many points. Oh, really? Compared to me, I think you're plenty good. Chigasaki, you aren't as bad as you say you are. How many total points do you have right now? He stopped picking up the books. I panicked and wondered if I said something wrong, but he responded with a sad smile. About 200. I'm sorry it's such a small number. Huh? 200? I remembered seeing the dramas he played in a few times. It's true he wasn't a good actor, but he wasn't particularly bad either. Oh, I see. Well, they subtract points when you take a punishment game. I heard that if you have more points, they take more away. That's why... For taking the punishment game, it was about 200 points. I think I have the fewest points of everyone here. My point total was 703. Mose said he had nearly 1,000, and I thought the people on the low end had like 500. When I heard that number, I was unable to hide my surprise. But but you only need one person to get enough points. Chikasaki, you support the rest of us in other ways. I think the way you were combing through data right now is pretty amazing. I just let my mind wander. Chikasaki, you never complain about work, and you're always willing to help others. You've always been helpful. I'd like to say the same as well. He responded to my silly remark with kindness while returning the books to the shelf. He continued despite only having one leg. As I watched him, it got me thinking, I should change the subject. I pointed to a book. Oh, look, there's a comic for girls here. I didn't know the library had these things. You're right. I'd noticed the variety, but I felt like Chikasaki could see that I was forcibly changing the subject, and he just played along with it in his usual gentle voice. The comic itself looks like an old one. Chikasaki, do you like to read comics? Only occasionally. And do you read them often? I mostly read with my younger sister. We have the same taste, so we work together to collect the series we like. I see. And that's something siblings could do together. After changing topics, we finished cleaning up. I opened the comic book in my hand. It looks like a medieval fantasy. Oh? It's a romance story between two people from enemy nations. Maybe it's like Romeo and Juliet. I see. And do you like those kinds of stories? I was going through the pages so fast, it must have been why he asked that. I felt embarrassed. Well, it isn't. Oh, isn't it exciting to read about life or death stakes and romantic stories? Especially when you never experienced it. Sina, have you ever been in love? Never. You said it with such certainty. Not even a little. I don't think so. The only boy that I'm remotely close to is Tomose. Romance seems like something from another world to me. I see. You know, this prince in the comic kind of looks like you, Chikasaki. The way he looks so eloquent and kind. Do have similar hairstyles. Chikasaki's not real. He popped out of this comic. It's not just the hairstyle. Look, it's this part and how he glitters when he smiles and just the feel in general. Oh, really? I don't think I could be that bold. The prince is really assertive. He's flirting with the princess of an enemy kingdom adamantly. And here he says he wants to know more about her. I read a bit of it before returning it to the shelf. The content was a bit too embarrassing for me to read in front of Chikasaki. Oh, I'll get back to work, so don't mind me. It's not that. I just think I'm just too young for it. And that's not true. Sina, I'm sure you'll find wonderful love very soon. It'll be more romantic than that comic. Oh, please. Although it does seem nice. Just a bit. Yeah, you'd laugh and cry. It's wonderful to have someone who you can be so emotionally moved by. That's right. I'm so glad you didn't make fun of me. Never make fun of you. The other world stream occasionally has romance dramas too. When I watch those, it makes me realize how complex the human mind is, how mysterious love can be. This sounds like something a robot would say. Mysterious, you say? Well, isn't it mysterious? And they say that love is blind. One moment you have everything, the next minute you're throwing it out for a chance at eternal love. How do you find someone that you can fall so deeply in love with like that? How can you find someone that'll love you as much as you love them? Okay, he ain't wrong now. This is being philosophical and legit. His voice echoed with a sadness. He smiled gently, making me think that he was just as beautiful as that comic book character. Why would he... Oh, I guess even for this question, you'll be able to find your answer quickly, Sena. And there's no need to fall in love for the sake of love. There you go again. That's what I've been thinking. Even if you're backed into a dangerous corner, you're considerate and make us feel happier. The fact that you don't realize it yourself makes you all the cuter and even more heartwarming. Are you sure you're talking about me? Of course. Compliments don't seem to fit who I am. After our tangent ran its course, Chikasaki and I returned to our research. And we'll stop here. Still in the middle of the scene, sort of, but not really. Switch to a new one. The black transition was enough, so. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.